when you're in lack and separation, time gets really crazy because you want stuff to happen faster and it feels like it's taking forever. That's because you're in separation. When you're in love and you're in connected, you don't want the moment to end. I mean, I had three guys over for dinner last night, all these academics. I cooked a meal and a half for these guys, took out great wine. Why? I wanted them to be so caught up in the moment that they forgot that we made a new memory. We had a great experience. And life then is about experiencing it in love. Like, I'm not gonna be guilty of what I'm eating or judge what I'm eating if I've cooked a great meal. Let's eat. Because the guilt is worse than whatever it is you think is bad for you. So then, when you're feeling those elevated emotions, and you're locked in love, then you see life through the lens of love, and there's compassion. Like, you could look at your greatest adversary, the person that threw you under the bus, and you've overcome yourself and you've done the work.
They've stolen from you, they're trying to talk bad about you behind your back.
Trashing on you, all that stuff. You'll look at them and you'll see a part of yourself that you used to be that you no longer are, and you have nothing but understanding and compassion.
Wow.
For like, wow, I feel for that person. They're hurting, they're struggling. I used to be like that, but you're no longer that. When you're that, then they push your buttons. When you're not,
you're reactive to that.
Because you're equal, but when you've overcome it, why would you do that? You would see them as somebody struggling, just like you see a child who's throwing a tantrum, just like other. I react, oh my God, I react every day, but the fundamental question is, how long are you gonna react?
Right.
So shortening the refractory period of your emotional reactions is that kind of intelligence where we're keeping ourselves out of the past. Justified, valid or not, the only person that's affecting is you. And then you have to ask yourself, is it loving to me? Well, if you can't control that emotional reaction, then you're a junkie. And you're on a bad trip, and you're overdosing. But if you know that you're overdosing, you got to get beyond your rational mind, because you'll say, why are you this way? Oh, because I should. All right, by you doing that, is it making more of those chemicals? Yeah, why were you doing that? To make you feel more like it's justified. So then, this takes, I excuse myself many times in one day.
Because you'll be, I'm in a reaction mode, let me step aside.
I'll be like, are you kidding me? What did they do? And then I'll be like, oh, we're not gonna make a decision
in this
state. So give me a minute.
Oh, wow.
I go, take a few breaths, get out of that state, remember my future, where I'm going. It's so much more important than the present moment. I just got to condition my body into that future. And now it takes sometimes a Herculean effort, I have to tell you. You can ask my staff. I'll be in there 15, 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll say it took me an hour. But
to get back to a peaceful state.
In the expanse of all eternity, if I don't overcome that emotion, then I'm in my past, and that's karma, because that emotion's gonna drive my behaviors and thoughts, and I'm gonna be predictable. My past is gonna look, my future's gonna look a lot like my past. So if I'm soulfully on the journey, then what matters the most is being able to learn the skill of self-regulation. So in our events, when we see people that can do brain and heart coherence, they know the formula. When I look at their brain scans and I'm like, Lewis, great brain. Hey, I see you can hold that heart coherence for 45 minutes. Great, now let's put you on a pole at 55 feet in the air. Let's get a heart rate monitor on you and let's see what you're gonna do up there. Do you wanna be able to self-regulate there? Because if you can there, it's not like I'm trying to give you an adrenaline rush. Actually, I'm trying to do the opposite. I want you to settle your brain and body back down, go against thousands of years programming like fear, and teach your body in that moment how to regulate. I guarantee you, if you go a little further than what you did and you stay conscious, instead of throwing in a program and rushing through it and trying to get it over with, you start breathing, you start getting back in your heart, you start getting centered, you work against those chemicals, I guarantee you when you walk into your life, you're gonna, the moment you see something doing, you're gonna catch on right away, you're gonna catch yourself. Now that saves you a lot of energy and a lot of time. Because if you're able to change it then instead of 4 hours later where you're just gone.
Or you've already reacted.
Yeah, and you've done things you say I should have never done that, I should have never said that. That's what those emotions do, because those emotions make us really primitive. I will tell you this, that One of the things that happens when people start to come across information and knowledge that's really valuable, they want to share it with the person next to them or share it with their lover, or whatever. But if they're in a relationship for 15 years and they have a lot of emotional agreements with people and things, and they're in a lot of habits, we only accept, believe, and surrender to information that's equal to our emotional state. So sometimes it bounces off the person, and if the person's really enthusiastic, then they're really like, whoa, what is up? You're changing in front of my, I don't like you this way. We had a thing going here. We could pick apart anybody or anything. Now you're not showing up equal to my memory. You're unpredictable. You're in the unknown. I don't
you're
know
unsafe.
The unknown is unsafe, right? So. The enthusiasm is the first thing that starts creating disconnection. But if the person goes, that's amazing, that's really cool, say it again, like they're ready to hear the information, those people are going to evolve together, right? If the person just kind of looks and says, oh my God, my wife's on the Kool-Aid or whatever it is, this person is, they changed their medication, I don't know what's happening with them, then that person that is trying to explain it philosophically is just looking for someone to exchange information with. That person may not be the person. He may just like Sunday football games and Monday Night Football and hanging out, drinking beer, and they fell in love when they were the same, right? So now, the next step is to find the person that you can exchange that information with, because you want to understand it better so you can begin to use it. Now, you have to stop preaching to that person. That's the first thing you have to do. In other words, show up happy. Show up transformed. Be the example. And then one of two things will happen. I tell my kids this all the time.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of study, a lot of long hours in my attempt to connect. But I'm just the type of person, and I've always been this way, that I love to dovetail concepts. I love to unify principles. I like to connect the dots. And if the dots don't connect, I can't sleep. It just doesn't work for me. So for me, my interest at one point when I had my own life change was I started studying spontaneous remissions. People that were sick and they were getting worse or they were staying the same, and they were using all kinds of treatments, conventional and unconventional, and then all of a sudden they got better, like they just got better. So I wanted to know what the cause was that produced that effect, and although there were certain things that had to do with changes in lifestyle, matter to matter, the common things that they had that produced their significant changes had mostly to do with mind. And so that's... journey in demystifying the process. At that time, there wasn't a lot of people really challenging convention in that way. But when I had my own personal healing and started looking at all these people that were having healings, I couldn't go to the textbooks that were the basic mechanistic view of the way things happen, because the answers weren't there. So I had to look at the quantum model of reality, the mind-body connection, epigenetics, and what genes do, and genes make proteins, and proteins create structure and function in the body. And so I had all these, I was juggling all these plates, you know, I was spinning them all, trying to keep them all going and trying to build this model of understanding. Back in the late 1980s and the early 1990s, I had moments, a lot of perseverance, a lot of effort, a lot of trying. And I learned a lot about surrender in the last 20 years or so, because surrender is trusting in an outcome. And when you're in the field, you don't have to try, because if you're in the field and you're trying, you're gonna have more reasons to try. It's this delicate balance between intention and surrender. You know, intention is getting clear on what you want when you're in the field, and surrender is letting go and allowing and trusting a greater mind. When I started connecting, I had a lot of coherence, I had a lot of peace, my heart started opening, I felt this subtle form of connection and love, and then every now and then I would get the prize. Every now and then the door would open and my nervous system would become electric. And I don't have the words to describe it, except it was the most orderly, coherent, electric feeling that love would not be the word, because people think love is chemical. You know, love for your child, a love for your puppy, you know, a love for your partner, love for your car, but this is not like that. That's coming from inside of you, and the moment you have this feeling, you know that there's some awareness that's greater than you that is doing it, or at least you're having the experience with. And you only need really one taste of that, and it's the sweetest wine you'll ever drink in your life, and then your whole life is about, how do I do that again? So you become less interested in all the preoccupations that happen outside of us. I think it's an evolution. So my experience now of my connection to the field, when I have those elegant moments, am so awakened by that energy. It's so wonderful that I think to myself, there just can't be any more love to experience than that, until the next experience, and then there's more. And all of a sudden you're developing a relationship with this intelligence within you. You want to commune with it. You want to make time for it. You want to connect with it. Just like any relationship, you want to be present with it. You want to experience with it. You want to dream with it. You want to confide in it. You want to surrender your problems to it. It begins to become a love affair. And people are beginning to understand that that is the resource that causes them to feel so whole that they no longer want anything. And I think that's a good place to be.